The October 26, 2020 Troy City Council meeting. I'll officially call the meeting to order and ask for the roll call, Ms. Dixon.
Mayor Baker?
Here.
Councilmember Abraham?
Here.
Councilmember Brooks?
Here.
Councilmember Chamberlain-Crainga?
Here.
Councilmember Erickson Galt?
Here.
Mayor Pro Tem Hamilton?
Here.
Councilmember Hoderick?
Here.
All present this evening. First on the agenda, we have a late submittal. It's a vote on resolution to suspend the rules of procedure for City Council, Rule Number 5B, Regular Meeting Order of Business. And I'll move that's resolved that Troy City Council hereby suspends rules of procedure for the City Council, Rule 5B, Regular Meeting Order of Business, to take items out of order on the agenda. And we'll move I6 up as that's the proposed change.
Support.
Name's Dario. Moved by the chair, supported by Councilmember Hoderick, that we approve the vote on resolution to suspend rules of procedure for City Council, Rule 5B, Regular Meeting Order of Business. Any discussion? The vote, Ms. Dixon.
Mayor Baker?
Yes.
Councilmember Abraham?
Yes.
Councilmember Brooks?
Yes.
Councilmember Chamberlain-Crainga?
Yes.
Councilmember Erickson Galt?
Yes.
Mayor Pro Tem Hamilton?
Yes.
Councilmember Hoderick?
Yes.
Motion carries. So first item of business will be I6, a resolution for continued virtual City Council meetings to address COVID concerns. And that'll be introduced by City Attorney Lori Grigblum.
Thank you, Mayor. And I won't make you read it all this time. Basically, this is an affirmation of what you have been doing to allow for electronic meetings. This just recognizes that now the Michigan legislature has actually given us a state law now that allows for electronic meetings. It's retroactive to March of 2020, and it goes until the end of the year, so until December 31st of 2020. And you're articulating a reason in that it is difficult to accommodate due to the epidemic orders of the Michigan Department of Health and Human Services, which limit the occupancy of all of our council chambers. And then also that there's a potential for increased risk of exposure to COVID. And I'm happy to answer any questions that council members have.
Thank you, City Attorney Bloom. Any questions for the City Attorney? Anyone like to move the resolution? Councilmember Erickson Galt.
Sorry, had to unmute. Okay, I'll move I6, resolution for continued virtual City Council meetings to address COVID concerns as printed in the agenda.
Support.
Moved by Councilmember Erickson Galt, supported by Mayor Pro Tem Hamilton, that we approve I6, resolution for continued virtual City Council meetings to address COVID concerns. Any discussion? All right, the vote, Ms. Dixon.
Councilmember Abraham?
Yes.
Councilmember Brooks?
Yes.
Councilmember Chamberlain-Crainga?
Yes.
Councilmember Erickson Galt?
Yes.
Mayor Pro Tem Hamilton?
Yes.
Councilmember Hoderick?
Yes.
Mayor Baker?
Yes. Motion carries. All right, so back to the agenda. There are no certificates of recognition and special presentations this evening. There are no carryover items. There are also no public hearings. So we move on to F, public comment. As a reminder, so long as we're meeting virtually, public comment will be submitted via voicemail to 248. Oh, I forgot the number. After all that time, it's first time. 248-224-3302 is the phone number you can call, leave a voicemail, and that's not the right number actually. It's 524-3302. 248-524-3302, or you can send an email to publiccomment@troymi.gov. With that said, I'll turn it over to City Clerk Dixon for any public comment that came in by 4 p.m. today.
Thank you, Mayor. We have 20 emails and I think about 12 voicemails to get through tonight. The first comment is from Jai Mystery. My family and I have been Troy residents for the last 27 years. We are very much in support of the dedicated cricket field in Troy. Please let me know how I can further support. Comment 2 is from Sarwat Siddiqui. Hi, Troy City Mayor and City Council members. I am a Troy resident for over 21 years and own 2 houses in Troy. It is great to hear Troy City is planning to add a cricket field or ground. I'm a cricketer and love to see the cricket field in Troy. Comment 3 is from Jerry Stager. Some vehicles now have extremely loud exhausts. They use aftermarket equipment to make them super loud and therefore disturbing for residential communities. Birmingham, Bloomfield Township, and Bloomfield Hills have recently begun ticketing them on Woodward. So they seem to have moved to Big Beaver. My street is a block from Big Beaver, and the loud noise can be easily heard some nights for hours and hours. Can the city take enforcement action against extremely loud vehicles? Thanks. Comment 4 is from Sahid Hussain. Dear Troy City Council members, my wife Subika and I have been City of Troy residents for almost 9 years and have always supported initiatives that we thought would make our city improve and become attractive to others. We would like your support to approve a cricket field for our city. I believe that having a dedicated field would be a nice gift to the residents and will help this sport. Comment 5 is from Ramat and Ruhi Awan. Dear Troy City Council members, my wife Ruhi and I have been City of Troy residents for almost 25 years and have always supported initiatives that we thought would make our city improve and become attractive to more residents. This time we would like your support to approve a cricket field for our city. I am a cricket fan and do watch and play cricket in our neighborhood parks and believe that having a dedicated field will be nice and will help this sport. Please feel free to contact me with questions. Comment 6 is from Mahwidin Ahmad. Hello, I'd like to request the City of Troy to provide a cricket field. Comment 7 is from Lalit and Rachna Sethi. Dear Sir, Madam from Troy City, we would appreciate if Troy City officials would consider a sport field spot for cricket in Troy. There are multiple youth teams who are engaged in cricket each summer. Currently, cricket is being played open parking spots and any available spot by youth, which can cause potential injuries for citizens and does not provide optimum sport field conditions for competitive games for cricket lovers. Thanks in advance for your consideration. Comment 8 is from Hirak Chandra. I am a 21-year resident of Troy. I'm requesting the city to consider providing a cricket ground. It will serve the following purpose. 1, Troy has a lot of residents who love playing cricket. It will attract cricket players from other cities, improving the image of the city. 2, it will help local businesses like restaurants and shopping malls attract new customers. 3, it will make the city more attractive to potential home buyers. Comment 9 is from Shuwab Lekwat. To whom it may concern, please provide a cricket field at Troy, Michigan. Comment 10 is from Amin Hashmi. Dear Troy City Mayor and Council members, I'm a Troy resident for over 20 years. My family enjoys its parks and recreation facilities. We are excited that City of Troy planners are considering to add a cricket ground in city parks, which will be a feather in the cap. My family is ardent followers of cricket. Cricket ground will add value to the city and will attract sports fans. Comment 11 is from Saria Sadiq. I would like to see a cricket field in Troy, which will help hundreds of young adults to play cricket in the city where they were born and living for decades. Troy is a multicultural city, and among the residents, cricket is a very popular game. I will appreciate it if the upcoming city council meeting, our request for granting a field for cricket would be approved. Comment 12 is from Celine Bihuan. Please provide a cricket field in Troy. Comment 13 is from Shahid Ahmad. I am a Troy resident since 2000. I'm an active cricketer and travel all over Metro Detroit and Toledo to play cricket. It will be great to see a facility created in this city where a lot of residents care about the game. Hope this will happen soon. Comment 4 is from Aleem Khan. Please consider building a cricket field in Troy. We have many players in Troy that can use this facility. Comment 15 is from Ashek Yusuf. Dear Troy City Administration, please allow a field in Troy designated for playing cricket. I am of South Asian origin and would very much like to see cricket matches played out on a proper venue. Comment 6 is from Madhud Rahman. As you all know, cricket game has become quite popular in recent times. Unfortunately, there is no good facility in our vicinity for the kids to play cricket. I therefore request you to consider designating specific playing fields in Troy for playing cricket. Comment 17 is from Tawida Khatun and Sadek Rahman. The city of Troy has a large community of cricket fans. Many members of the Troy community play cricket on a regular basis. They aspire to play cricket in their own city rather than having to travel to the neighboring cities. We believe having a cricket field will serve the health and recreational needs of a large section of the Troy community. Therefore, we sincerely appeal to the Troy City Council to kindly approve of a cricket field in the city of Troy. Comment 18 is from Shama Kenkri. Dear City Council members, thank you for considering the cricket field in Troy. I am excited. Comment 19 is from Padma Kupa. Thank you for bringing the idea of having a cricket field in Troy on tonight's City Council agenda. I recently attended a cricket tournament in Rochester Hills where they have had an awesome field and many of the people involved were from Troy. I would love to see opportunities for the Troy community to play cricket on our own field and would be happy to see support for a cricket field in Troy. Comment 20 is from Sukla Doshi. Namaskar. On behalf of the Board of Trustees of the Bharatiya Temple and the Temple Management, I would respectfully request you to issue a Diwali proclamation this year. We were honored to receive the proclamation last year in person during your township meeting. We sincerely appreciate your support again. As you all know, Hindus form a major part of Troy residents. Our temple is situated in a very prominent and beautiful corner of the city of Troy. Our temple has been part of Troy for more than 40 years. We went through many expansions and reconstruction. Our new temple was recognized twice as the most beautiful structure in the city. Early last year, the Bharatiya Temple acquired the land and the historic stone house building adjacent to our property. We look forward to working with the Troy Historical Society and the City Council in preserving this historic building the best we can with the COVID-19 impacted financial resources. We thank you for all your support in the past and looking forward to the same this year. And now we have voicemails.
To request the Troy City Council to approve allocate a cricket field for the Troy residents, children, and the parents so that they can play the cricket. So my name is Nadeed Taha. My name is Nadeed Taha, and the telephone number is 248-92442. So I am strongly requesting Troy City Council to approve and grant a cricket field. Thank you. I know that there will be a meeting soon on this thing, so I'm requesting for that. Thank you. Bye-bye.
My name is Muhammad Ali. I am asking the city of Troy to provide a cricket field in Troy. Thanks. Bye. My name is Muhammad Ali.
Hi, my name is Lily Drimkowski, and I am calling in support of a cricket field, and I want you guys in Troy, and I want you guys to consider this. Thank you.
Good morning. I am addressing this to the City Council in reference to the creation of a cricket field. I understand the city has, in the past provided a couple of venues for practice/official games, but really nothing in the long term. So I appreciate some members showing great interest, and I think it is a great need for our city. It will be a win-win situation, and I am looking forward to a good long-term solution to the cricket field. So kindly do your best, and you will be pleased, because cricket will bring a lot of diversity and, positive activity and, a great spirit. So please, one more time, we are eagerly waiting for a good cricket field in Troy. Thanks a lot for your time. Bye now.
Good evening. This is Munira. I would like to request the city of Troy to please provide the field to play cricket. Who loves the sports and who loves cricket? Thank you.
Hi, good morning. My name is Nisar, Nisar, last name Ahmed, Ahmed. Just requesting the city of Troy, if possible, to provide a cricket field that we can use. Just a request from the bottom of our heart. We will really appreciate it if you can provide us the cricket field. Thank you very much. Have a good day. If you have any.
Hi, my name is Shahid Hussain, and I am a City of Troy resident. And I would like to request the City of Troy Council to please provide a cricket ground for us because we are in a desperate need of cricket ground. So please make sure that we have one available whenever it is possible. Thank you.
Hi, my name is Shahir Hussain, and I just wanted to request a cricket field in Troy. Hi, my name is Shahir.
Hello, good morning. My name is Muhit Mahmood, Muhith. Last name is Mahmood. I'm calling regarding the cricket field. Troy is a multicultural people, and we have our cricket is very famous on our community, and our kids need a cricket field. This is a field that we need a cricket field, and Troy is the last area that can accommodate a cricket field. Not a big deal. Please help us out. Thank you.
Yes, my name is Sarwat Siddiqui, Sarwat, and last name is Siddiqui, and I'm calling you regarding cricket field, CRICKET cricket field. We need that one in Troy City. We have at least 500 cricketers minimum who likes to play on that ground, and we have several thousand other than who plays in the league. And I live in a 3962 Mesa Drive, Troy City 48083. If you have any question, you can always call me at 24 that field, or we can also make a new field too. Thank you. Bye-bye.
Mr. Baker, Roger Walters calling you. Hey, I called you about those speed bumps on Boyd Street from International Academy. So we'll put flying down our street like they're in space cars. That would be appropriate since the school district doesn't own our residential street. It's up to you to put speed bumps on our street. It'd be appropriate because if not, I'll be calling Troy police every other day. So here's a good idea. Just put speed bumps on there and you'll solve a problem. Unless you're a person who likes to create them. Other than that, the only thing I can tell you is that you're not doing your job as a mayor. Put the speed bumps on our street. Be realistic. Thank you.
That's all the messages.
That concludes those that have participated or offered public comment either by voicemail at 248-524-3302 or via email public comment at troymi.gov. And I have to say, I'm so excited to have such excited public comment and community engagement on an issue that we're just starting to really look at again. I mean, it tells you something about the interest level and perhaps a real big need in our community for a cricket field, obviously, is what I'm talking about. And, we're here to hear voices, and your voices are going to be heard. And I appreciate everybody who took the time to call in or to send a voicemail. I think that's pretty amazing. Obviously now's the opportunity for members of council and city administration to reply to the public comment this evening. I will jump in and say we did get a report. Councilmember Erickson Gall asked last meeting about bringing up the cricket field idea again, which I think is fantastic. And we did get a report from city administration that's, I think it's O2B this evening. And the end of that report, I think basically asks for council to provide further direction. And maybe I'm jumping the gun a little bit, but I think I'd like to see consensus to see if we can explore that idea a little bit further to maybe look at some costs involved with what that would take and the procedure. I think based on the 30 or so voices we just heard regarding that from our community, I think it would be worth our time, and it'd be good representation for us to get further information from city management as to costs, as to what it would take to actually make that happen, and not just upfront costs, but maintenance costs as well. I mean, that's obviously something we need to look at. We definitely, it feels like, have a yearning in this community for recreation and money to be focused towards recreation as we look at the public comment from the swimming pool. And now here we are with looking at the cricket field, and our parks are a big part of our city. So could I get consensus from council and ask city management to continue to provide more information? Look into it. I don't know, Mark, if that's, as we look at our budget study sessions coming up, if that's something that could be part of that, or if you'd like to do it in a different report. That's your prerogative, I suppose, but just you have the consensus there. Also wanted to address, I think it was the 20th email regarding the Diwali proclamation. We do have one on the consent agenda this evening that will be, I'm assuming, approved, and we'll present it at the next meeting, which will be in time for the November 14th start in Valley. So we thank you for calling in. We value very much our relationship with the temple, and thank you for the reminder. We did have it on our agenda, so we're absolutely looking forward to doing that as well. Any other council members or city administration like to reply to the public comment this evening? Mayor Pro Tem Hamilton.
The third comment from Mr. Stager was about loud exhaust and car noises on Big Beaver. Can city staff address what our options are there, what our ordinances say regarding that, what are our enforcement options? I'm curious on that.
Absolutely, thank you. That was a good. Didn't want Mr. Stager to feel he got lost in the cricket field rush, but Councilmember Hoderick.
I just want to kind of affirm Mr. Stager's comments. I can hear loud traffic from Big Beaver really late into the night, much more so than I ever remember hearing before. And I'm not on Big Beaver, but you can hear it. It's coming in, I think, on many roads. So we may have some late night traffic issues in terms of that racing sound, the loud sounds that need to be looked at. I thought maybe it was just me, and it's interesting to have a resident call in. It is very, very loud, and I suppose anybody living right near those roads is really dealing with sound noise. I don't know what our ordinances say, but I'd be interested in looking at that as well.
Great. Any other one from council? Councilmember Abraham.
Thank you, Mayor. I just wanted to comment a little bit further about the cricket fields. I just want to make sure residents that called in or wrote in and hopefully are watching tonight understand what the consensus was for. Right now, we're starting to head into the next budget season. We're starting to have budget study sessions in November. And I think what you heard us give consensus for was to explore what it takes in terms of, initial costs and then ongoing costs, because just like your own household budgets, we have many demands, and we need to make sure that we are looking at all the demands, balancing that out, and then understanding the ongoing costs associated. So just want to be clear that tonight's consensus wasn't a go, no go direction. It was council is definitely interested in finding out more, and we certainly appreciate all the residents providing input. We definitely hear you. We just need to understand, what this will take in context of all the other budget demands. So just wanted to provide a little clarity that this is a conversation that's going to continue for a little while. No decision was made tonight, but you definitely have council's attention.
Very, very well put. Maybe I jumped the gun a little bit with my consensus seeking. Thanks for the clarification. I think that's a good idea. Anyone else from council? Okay. Next up on the agenda is postponed item. City Manager Miller. Looks like you're doing a Boy Scout salute.
Thank you. Regarding the proclamation related to Diwali, you may recall that we do light up City Hall. A couple years ago, we had gotten a new lighting system for the winter holidays, and we've actually found that it's programmable and we can light up City Hall for all year round for a variety of events, but we will be doing that.
Oh, very good. Thank you. It's good to know. All right, next is postponed items. There are none this evening, so we move on to regular business. First up is I1. There are no mayoral appointments this evening, but I do believe there are a couple city council appointments, so I'll turn it over to Mayor Pro Tem Hamilton.
Thank you, Mayor. Resolved that Troy City Council hereby appoints the following nominated persons to serve on the Animal Control Appeal Board, Jane Sager and Doug Dombrowski, for the terms expiring September 30th, 2023.
Support.
Moved by Mayor Pro Tem Hamilton, supported by Councilmember Abraham, that we approve Jane Sager and Doug Dombrowski for the Animal Control Appeal Board for the terms expiring September 30th, 2023. Is there any discussion on this item? All right, the vote, Ms. Dixon.
Councilmember Brooks,
Yes.
Councilmember Chamberlain Krenga,
Yes.
Councilmember Erickson Galt,
Yes.
Mayor Pro Tem Hamilton,
Yes.
Councilmember Hoderick,
Yes.
Mayor Baker,
Yes.
Councilmember Abraham.
Yes.
Motion carries. We thank very much Ms. Sager and Mr. Dombrowski for their willingness to serve on this important board in our city. That concludes city council appointments this evening. So we move on to I2, board and committee nominations. I have 2 nominations this evening to the Global Troy Advisory Authority Committee. First, for the term expiring October 30th, 2023, I'd like to re-nominate Lisa Bika-Grodsky. And for the student representative, I'd like to nominate Allison Liu. And that term, Lisa Bika-Grodsky's term expires October 30th, 2023. And the student representative would expire July 31st, 2021.
Support.
Moved by the chair, supported by Councilmember Chamberlain Krianga, that we nominate Lisa Bika-Grodsky to the Global Troy Advisory Committee for the term expiring October 30th, 2023, and Allison Liu as the student representative for the term expiring July 31st, 2021. Any discussion? The vote, Ms. Dixon.
Councilmember Chamberlain Krenga,
Yes.
Councilmember Erickson Galt,
Yes.
Mayor Pro Tem Hamilton,
Yes.
Councilmember Hoderick,
Yes.
Mayor Baker,
Yes.
Councilmember Abraham,
Yes.
Councilmember Brooks.
Yes.
Motion carries. I don't have any further nominations this evening. Mayor Pro Tem Hamilton? No?
Nope,
Okay.
that's it.
Very good. So next up on the agenda is I3. We do have a request for closed session this evening. So I'll move that be it resolved that Troy City Council shall meet in closed session as permitted by MCL 15.268H, MCL 15.243, Section 1EG, as printed in the agenda packet.
Support.
Moved by the chair, supported by Councilmember Brooks, that we approve I3 requests for closed session as read into the record. Any discussion? All right, the vote, Ms. Dixon.
Councilmember Erickson Galt,
Yes.
Mayor Pro Tem Hamilton,
Yes.
Councilmember Hoderick,
Yes.
Mayor Baker,
Yes.
Councilmember Abraham,
Yes.
Councilmember Brooks,
Yes.
Councilmember Chamberlain Krenga.
Yes.
Motion carries. Next on the agenda is I4, a standard purchasing resolution 4, award State of Michigan My Deal Cooperative Purchasing Agreement and budget amendment for fleet vehicles. And this item will be introduced by Public Works Director Kurt Bovenseed. Hi, Kurt.
Good evening, Mayor and Council. Thank you. these particular purchases aren't really unique. The fleet department prides itself on a very calculated methodology on when to replace vehicles and equipment. Typically, these purchases are spread out throughout the year. What we found over the last several years, and specifically with the pandemic, it's very hard and there's a very long delay in getting vehicles, specifically police vehicles, because they're not as produced as frequently as your regular residential type vehicles. In addition to this, and one of the reasons why this is on regular business, is there is a request for a budget amendment. Unfortunately, to be completely clear, there was a miscommunication between the police department and the Department of Public Works, and mainly what contributed to that was all the delays in vehicles and some things we had to move around. But glad that the budget can support this amendment, and we're requesting a budget amendment to purchase additional vehicles for the police department. And I'll be happy to answer any questions.
Thank you, Kurt. Any questions from council before we move a resolution? I had a quick question. It's probably kind of trivial, but it seems to me that maybe last year we purchased some Chevy Tahoes for the police department. Are we back to the Ford vehicles again, or is that just the way it worked out?
Certainly, Mayor. We communicate directly with the police department to meet their needs, and those Tahoes were a replacement to some of the vehicles that we were unable to get last year, which it worked out good because those did go to some command staff that carry additional equipment. However, the police department has requested to continue purchasing the Ford Explorers for these operations.
Okay. And one other question. I hate to I'm even asking this, but all of the vehicles listed in this memo are for their stated purposes with the police department, correct?
That is correct. There is one vehicle that will be issued to the fire department, but the remaining vehicles will be issued to the police department.
Okay. Thank you. Anyone like to move the resolution, or are there any other questions from council? Councilmember Chamberlain-Craig.
I'll move the resolution. That's our question. Okay, I'll move I4, Standard Purchasing Resolution 4, Award State of Michigan MI-Deal Cooperative Purchasing Agreement and Budget Amendment for Fleet Vehicles as printed.
Support.
Moved by Councilmember Chamberlain-Craig, supported by Councilmember Hoderick, that we approve I4, Standard Purchasing Resolution 4, Award State of Michigan MI-Deal Cooperative Purchasing Agreement and Budget Amendment for Fleet Vehicles. Any discussion this evening? All right, seeing none, the vote, Ms. Dixon.
Mayor Pro Tem Hamilton,
Yes.
Councilmember Hoderick,
Yes.
Mayor Baker,
Yes.
Councilmember Abraham,
Yes.
Councilmember Brooks,
Yes.
Councilmember Chamberlain-Craig,
Yes.
Councilmember Erickson Galt.
Yes.
Motion carries. Thank you, Kurt. Next on the agenda is I5, Request for Affirmation of Emergency Purchase, I-75 Segment 2, Betterment 2, PC-049, Removal and Replacement of Existing Pavement, Coolidge Highway, south of Square Lake Road. And I see City Engineer Bill Hootery has joined us and will be handling his presentation. So I'll turn it over to you, Bill.
All right, thank you. Everyone hear me? Good evening, Mayor and City Council. The item before you recommends affirmation of the expenditure of approximately $190,000 for the removal and replacement of the existing concrete pavement on Coolidge Highway under 75. That's the area south of Square Lake. Funding is from the approved budgeted funds in the Major Road Fund within the Major Road Concrete Slab Replacement Business Unit. Council had previously approved the widening of Coolidge Highway at this location, and this item expands on that scope of work to remove and replace the existing concrete pavement in the same area. While the widening work has progressed, it became very evident that the existing pavement needed to be replaced now and not later. There are a couple pictures attached to the agenda item that show the current condition if you haven't seen it. Looking back, the removal and replacement of the existing pavement should have most likely been included in the original request for the widening. But we tried to do similar to our concrete slab replacement, where we try and do what's needed. In this case, the existing pavement similar conditions, similar age. So it may have been better thought out to have been included when we did approve the widening back in September. And there was a question earlier. The pavement in this area has a PACER rating of 4. So it's been on DPW's concrete replacement radar for the last few years, but it's been postponed due to the I-75 project. And Walsh-Toby is already out there doing the widening work in the condition warranted replacement now. This also avoids having another full closure, which would further impact emergency services, as fire station number 6 is just south of I-75, as well as avoiding future impacts to motorists again at a later date if we had to close it down again. Big thing here is the time of year and a project of this size makes any change in the scope of work time critical and very weather dependent. And Walsh-Toby had put this request in on the 12th, which was the date of the council meeting. But we're not able to bring it to that meeting, but they also requested that we get them a response back by October 16th. So that was a little over a week ago. And that was the request they made, is to try and avoid any further delays to their schedule, because they are looking to try and complete the work on Coolidge and have it back open to traffic by November 13th. And then the overall project, Walsh-Toby is pushing to open 3 lanes of traffic in each direction on I-75, including the DDIs at 14 Mile and Big Beaver, and all of the major road work under I-75 by November 15th. So weather is a significant factor. And most of you, if you've driven it, realize there's still quite a bit of work to do. So any delays would cause some further issues. And then other work will still continue throughout this winter into the spring of 21. And right now, MDOT and Walsh-Toby are looking at a final completion date in April of 2021. So with that, I'd be happy to answer any questions. Thank you.
Thank you, Bill. Good to see you. Any questions from council? All right. Someone like to, did you have something to say, Mark? Oh, okay. Someone like to move the resolution? Councilmember Brooks.
I would like to move, let me just pull this up here. I-5, request for affirmation of emergency purchase, I-75 segment 2 betterment 2 PCO 049, removal and replacement of existing pavement, Coolidge Highway south of Square Lake Road, as printed in the agenda.
Support.
Moved by Councilmember Brooks, supported by Councilmember Chamberlain-Krienga, that we approve I-5, request for affirmation of emergency purchase, I-75 segment 2, betterment 2, PCO-049, removal and replacement of existing pavement, Coolidge Highway south of Square Lake Road, as printed in the agenda. Any discussion on this item? I'll just say a quick, we've been talking about this under that overpass for a few years now. And as a reminder to everybody, it used to be a terrible bottleneck northbound at rush hour. So it's going to be nice to have it widen, and it'll be nice to have fresh concrete under there. And I think the timing of not having to close it again is very, very, it was better for emergency access, like you said, with Station 6, and for the residents as a whole. So thank you. I think it's a good one. Good thing. The vote, Ms. Dixon.
Councilmember Hoderick?
Yes.
Mayor Baker?
Yes.
Councilmember Abraham?
Yes.
Councilmember Brooks?
Yes.
Councilmember Chamberlain-Krienga?
Yes.
Councilmember Erickson Galt?
Yes.
Mayor Pro Tem Hamilton?
Yes.
Motion carries. Thank you, Bill.
Thank you.
That concludes regular business this evening. Next up on the agenda is the consent agenda. Would anybody like to pull anything from the consent agenda this evening? Councilmember Chamberlain-Krienga.
Yes, I would like to pull J02. Approval of city council minutes.
Okay. J02. Someone like to move the consent agenda less J02, approval of council minutes? Oh, Councilmember Abraham.
Thank you, Mayor. I'd like to move all J02A city council minutes.
Support.
Moved by Councilmember Abraham, supported by Councilmember Hoderick, that we approve all items on the consent agenda except for J2 A, approval of city council minutes draft, October 12th, 2020. Any discussion? Okay, the vote, Ms. Dixon.
Mayor Baker,
Yes.
Councilmember Abraham,
Yes.
Councilmember Brooks,
Yes.
Councilmember Chamberlain Krenga,
Yes.
Councilmember Erickson Galt,
Yes.
Mayor Pro Tem Hamilton,
Yes.
Councilmember Hoderick.
Yes.
Okay, motion carries. Now to J02, Councilmember Chamberlain Krienga. The floor is yours.
Yes. So I would like to move to postpone J02 just to give some time to look back at the record for some clarification on those comments. And I partly have my husband, who is an historian archivist, to blame for this, who just always emphasized that the record is everything. So just to give us some time for clarification.
Very good. City Attorney Bloom or City Clerk Dixon, for clarification purposes, do we need a formal motion to postpone, or can we table it, or what's the best procedural method to have this looked at the next meeting?
I feel like it was removed already from the consideration. You probably should just postpone it till the next meeting.
And Mayor, just to add to that also is that there are requirements for approval of minutes. And so by taking an affirmative action that protects the city as well.
Okay, so there's a motion from Councilmember Chamberlain Krienga to postpone the approval of city council minutes under J2 until the next city council meeting for the reasons stated. Is there support? All right, moved by Councilmember Chamberlain Krienga, supported by Mayor Pro Tem Hamilton, that we postpone J2 approval of city council minutes until our next regularly scheduled meeting. Any discussion? The vote, Ms. Dixon.
Councilmember Abraham,
Yes.
Councilmember Brooks,
Yes.
Councilmember Chamberlain Krenga,
Yes.
Councilmember Erickson Galt,
Yes.
Mayor Pro Tem Hamilton,
Yes.
Councilmember Hoderick,
Yes.
Mayor Baker.
Yes. Motion carries. Next up on the agenda is memorandums and future council agenda items. There are none this evening, which then takes that we've handled public comment. So we'll move on to council referrals. There are none of those either. So next is reports. There were several reports this evening. Any comments on the reports? I know there were some questions and comments submitted over the weekend to city management. Any discussion now? Councilmember Erickson Galt.
Yes, at the risk of making this the all cricket meeting, I want to just thank our members of city staff who worked, apparently put in a lot of time and effort in that cricket report. I was very pleased at how thorough it was and how much the staff had worked hard to look at it. And also, I gave a battery of questions, and I appreciate Kurt's great responses. And I'm excited about the prospect of a cricket field. And I want to emphasize what Councilmember Abraham said earlier, that we're on the early stages of this. We're looking into it. There's no vote to approve it tonight or disprove it or anything like that, but I'm excited that we're moving forward with it. So thank you very much for all your work on that.
Absolutely. And I have no idea how much a cricket field costs. And so I'm curious to see with that, because that's going to be a big part of the decision-making process, right? So yes, thank you. And I was actually, just to echo that a little bit, I was very impressed with the quality of the report, the images, the detail, and then the questions and answers given earlier today. I mean, I really appreciate how much city staff has taken this serious. And again, thank you, Councilmember Erickson Galt, for bringing it forward at the last meeting to get it back in front of us. Additional, Councilmember Hoderick.
I just wanted to draw everyone's attention to O2C, the 2020 Fire Department Virtual Open House. What a great creative way to just overcome the challenge of COVID and still share the amazing information about our volunteer, mostly all volunteer fire department and how it works, how the stations come together. It was one of those annual events that is almost sentimental when you've raised kids here and lived in the community for a long time. And it was disappointed to know that they wouldn't have been able to proceed as they normally would, but just tremendous, wonderful way to overcome that and to proceed with a longstanding tradition of really opening up to the community how we do that great work. So my congratulations to the fire department here in Troy and the team and the creativity for great information shared in a virtual way. And it's really a tremendous value to the community. So thank you.
Thank you, Councilmember Hoderick. Well said. Councilmember Chamberlain-Krienga, I think I saw your hand.
Yes, just to echo Councilmember Hoderick, I know my son always valued those in-person open houses and also valued very much the virtual open house. So thank you to our fire department for putting that on. That was very, very special during this time of COVID. Also, I do want to echo my support for exploring further the possibility of having a cricket field. I spent some very formative years during my graduate studies in London in the UK, where we know that cricket is a very important game, as well as to the countries of the Commonwealth, which includes India and South Asia, from where we have many residents who have roots. So I know that it is a deeply important game. And so I look forward to finding, learning more and finding how we might be able to see what's possible moving forward. A question I did have for city management of that report that came out is it appeared that there is data from the, if I read this correctly, data from the Parks and Recreation engagement that suggested or that talked about the importance of cricket, and just wondered when we go into our study sessions of setting priorities to lead into the budget, would we have a chance to actually go back to that data that informed the Parks and Recreation plan?
Mayor?
Yep, yes.
The answer to the question is yes.
Great, that's wonderful. That's good to know. I'm eager to see, especially as we know Parks and Recreation are increasingly important during COVID. Would love to just have that data that has informed our newest round of our Parks and Rec plan and to help us think about these opportunities. Third thing I wanted to mention relating to our green space and parks is I really want to thank the Grounds Division for agreeing to transport mulch further into the pathway on the Philip Hubbard on the trail, really helping out Mr. Kerr and Mr. Kelly, who've been volunteering to move mulch and to help maintain that trail. So again, just thank you for reaching out to them, letting them know, and finding whatever way we can to really appreciate their work. And I know I personally want to find some ways to thank them for all of their volunteer work. But thank you to the city for your partnership and help. And that's it.
Very good. I noticed one of the questions you asked about them was how do we recognize them as volunteers, and just thinking about various ways that we typically have a volunteer recognition banquet sometime in the year. That's one of the ways we recognize volunteers. Also, we can certainly think about issuing a proclamation at some point or something if work is extraordinary. So that's another way that I thought of as well. Additional comments on the reports this evening? I just missed somebody. Got to make sure I don't miss Edna. She's all right. Then we'll move on to council comments. How about council comments this evening? Mayor Pro Tem Hamilton.
Thank you, Mayor. This is our last meeting before the election on November 3rd in 8 days. So just wanted to do my usual reminders of all your voting options in Troy. On election day, the polls will be open 7 a.m. to 8 p.m. All 18 voting locations will be open as always, as usual. If you need to register to vote, you can register to vote at the clerk's office up till 8 p.m. on election day from here till now. You cannot no longer apply online. You can no longer apply other ways. You have to do it through the clerk's office for the last 14 days. You have the option to request an absentee ballot by 4 p.m. the day before the election. You can spoil your ballot and change it by 10 a.m. the day before the election if you've already returned an absentee ballot and have changed your mind. And you can request to get mailed an absentee ballot by this Friday at 5 p.m. Though I would strongly recommend, because mail has been slow, to not do that option. If you still need to request an absentee ballot, bring your application to City Hall, put it in the drop box, or call up the clerk. Clerk's office will be open every weekday till 8 a.m. to 4:30 p.m. They will be open till 5 on Friday because of the absentee request rule. They'll also have a special drive-through clerk's office this Saturday, the final one. I'm looking here at 8 a.m. to 4 p.m. And so you can come and register to vote and get your absentee ballot and vote it there, all from the convenience of your car. And finally, the final warning is, if you do still have an absentee ballot and you filled it out, bring it to the clerk's office and put it in the drop box. Don't throw it in the mail right now with only 8 days to go. It has to be in the drop box by 8 p.m. on November 3rd, on final election day. And I also want to say this is my last meeting as Mayor Pro Tem of the City of Troy. At the next meeting, I will revert back to a regular council member, and we'll appoint a new member for the one-year term. So I just want to thank council for the appointment for the last year. It's been an honor. Though the mayor has attended every meeting, so I did not have to run any of the meetings as Mayor Pro Tem. So I thank you for your attendance, and it's been an honor. Thank you.
Very good. The hardest part, I think, and previous mayors talked about this, is we rotate out. Now I have to go back to calling you council member, and then it'll be council member Brooks, who likely will be appointed next mayor pro tem. So it's going to be very complicated. But David, you did a great job as mayor pro tem, no question. So appreciate all the work. And actually, in all honesty, you definitely took seriously the role of shepherding city council appointments and nominations to the boards and committees, and that's not an easy task. I was the mayor pro tem for the year before I became mayor, and it's hard to get people to volunteer in the right house. So you did a great job with that. So thank you very much. And as always, your moonlighting as a city clerk in disguise. But to that point, I also wanted to just say I've been getting a lot of messages on social media and some emails really praising what City Clerk Aileen Dixon has done with her staff and team to make it easy and safe to vote in this election. So I just want to, of course, publicly again say, Aileen, you're doing a great job. And I know your team is working very, very hard. And you're probably looking forward to November 4th isn't going to be soon enough, probably. So maybe a little bit after that, after everything gets certified at some point. But I really do appreciate it. And did you have anything you wanted to add to what Mayor Pro Tem Hamilton said? Is there anything you need from us or anybody in the community at this point with 8 days left?
Thanks, Mayor. Of course, thanks, Mayor Pro Tem Hamilton, for his information sharing and being kind of our champion, and for all of council for supporting us, and all of the city administration that supports us. There's quite literally every department in the city supports us in some way during this effort. So even though, I'm the person on the meeting and, I get to respond to the nice words that you guys say, I have a whole team of people working in my office tirelessly. We've lost track of how much overtime we've put in, but it's all for good cause. And we are pretty much looking forward to November 4th, but, we're looking forward to a nice day on November 3rd. And everyone is, working together to make sure that we provide a safe, secure, and nice election day for everyone who wants to come out and vote. And so far, it's been wonderful seeing so many Troy residents. We've been in contact with literally thousands of people in the past, even just in the past month. So we're, winding down here, not really, but you know what I mean, like coming to the end of our cycle. And I think that the thing that I'd like to remind people is that bring your patients with you. Like when you come to the city hall, there's a big line sometimes. When you go to your polling location, there may be a line. We're doing everything we can to make it a quick and efficient process. But sometimes when hundreds of people show up at the same time, it's going to happen. There's just going to be a line. So if everybody brings their patients and just remembers that, it's for a good cause. You're standing in line for a good cause. So.
Absolutely. Thank you, Aileen. Councilmember Brooks. Is she frozen for everybody else, or is it just me? Okay, okay. We can't hear you, Councilmember.
Oh, yeah, okay, yeah, I know it keeps glitching. I was saying City Clerk Dixon, are you still looking for volunteers for, you can't hear me?
We can now.
Oh, okay.
Keep going.
I was saying City Clerk Dixon, are you still looking for, okay, are you still looking for volunteers for, to work the polls on Election Day? Did you hear me?
Yes, I did. So literally
Okay.
for the first time in 20 years of me being in the clerk's office, we are all set with volunteers like before the election. We've had such a tremendous outpouring of people requesting to work, and we've had to start turning people away because we just didn't have, we had, probably 100 people on our backup list. So now we're getting cancellations every day, but we have so many people on our backup list that we're taking the applications, but it's just, at some point we just have to say, like, if you want to guarantee a spot to work, you probably would be better to go find another city or another township that doesn't have as many workers as we do, because we've had such a great response to all the efforts to recruit workers that we have all of our precincts staffed at 10 people per precinct, 10 workers, which is tremendous. We have our counting board staffed at, we have a Monday shift of, I think, 65 or 70 people. We have a Tuesday day shift of 65 to 70 people, plus an additional 30 people that will be coming in the afternoon to relieve some of those workers that got there at 5:30 or 6:30 in the morning who, aren't going to be able to stay as late. So at this point, if anybody's looking to still still interested in working, they would be better to contact some of their surrounding communities or contact the state of Michigan. They have a MVP, like an election worker MVP site, where you can put your name on the list, and then your name will be sent to any clerks in the area that are still looking for workers. So you'd be more guaranteed to have a spot in a precinct if you do it that way.
Very good. Thank you so much. And I just thought, back to your patience comment, bring your patience, and remember the people who are working and processing your votes and checking your ID and doing all that, you want them to take their time and to do it properly, because it's very, very important that we keep everything streamlined, safe, and secure. So keep that in mind as well. I know sometimes it's hard to spend the extra time, but I still think the time that we'll spend in Troy, Michigan voting will be far less than other places in the country, let alone the world. So please keep that patience and recognize how important it is. I'm expecting we'll have pretty high turnout, Aileen. We already do in a sense. So I don't know what our last presidential turnout looked like, but I'm guessing we'll have probably more this time overall.
So just to comment on that, we normally would have about a 75% turnout for a presidential election, and we're pretty much expecting that it's going to be more like 80 or 85%. But I was just looking at the numbers today, and just in the ballots that are received back already, the absentee ballots, not the ones that are just sent, but the actual ballots that came back already, we've got 35% turnout just in the ballots that we have back in our hands already. So that's amazing that we have that. Normally we would have, like in the olden days, we would have maybe 20% of absentee voting. 20% of the turnout would be absentee, but to have 35% turnout already a week before the election is just amazing. I've never seen that before.
Can you, and I saw a couple of hands go up as well, but can you give one more quick explanation to anybody that maybe either has their absentee ballot, did it wrong, or decided they want to vote in person instead, what they should do? So I've had that come up a couple of times as well. People are worried about even the drop boxes, or they do the timing. They just want to make sure they decide they can go to the polls after all.
Right. So if you have an absentee ballot in your hand, and there's a variety of reasons why people are saying that they might want to go in person. Either they got a ballot because they didn't know what the atmosphere would be like with COVID, and they still want to vote in person, but they wanted to have this like insurance policy ballot in their hand in case that we got, if we got shut down again, or if somebody got sick and they had to be quarantined or something. So if you have a ballot in your hand that you decide you do not want to vote, you can bring it to your precinct and surrender it. And there's a term, it's actually a specific term called surrendering it. And your ballot will be marked surrendered, and then you will be allowed to vote a regular ballot at the precinct. And that ballot will be, the worker will call our office and we will mark that ballot surrendered. If you have returned your ballot to us and it's before 10 a.m. on Monday, so it's a very specific time. It's different than what it used to be since we have this new law now. If it's before 10 a.m. on Monday, you would still be able to request that ballot be spoiled, and then we would remove it from processing. And that's if you've returned it already. Once 10 a.m. on Monday, November 2nd passes, there is no options left for your ballot if you've returned it. Your ballot will be counted and you cannot get it back and you can't spoil it. So that's the most important timeline. If you have requested a ballot and you did not receive it, or it got destroyed somehow, or you think you threw it away or something like that, you can still go vote in person. You would just go to the precinct on election day, and then there's an additional form you'd have to fill out. It's a quick form. It's just a checkbox and a signature. And then the call will be made to the clerk's office to, say that there's a voter here that requested a ballot but doesn't intend to vote it. And we would mark that ballot spoiled in our system. And then once that call is done, then you would be allowed to vote a ballot in the precinct.
Thank you. I'm expecting for some reason a lot of surrendered ballots or people maybe changing their mind. I don't know if you are as well, but I would think it could be a bigger issue this election than normal because of the reasons you mentioned.
Yeah, we've already surrendered a number of ballots for people because they for whatever reason have decided they're going to go vote in person. And we've gotten tons of calls from people saying that they had gotten a ballot because they weren't sure how they were going to feel like this week, but now they're fine, so they'd rather go vote in person, and that's totally fine. We were getting a little bit concerned about our ballot quantities. We ordered 110%, and that was enough. But when you have so many people that are basically getting double ballots because they're getting it's the same ballot stock that we pull from for the in-person ballots versus the absentee. So I've ordered extra ballots, so we'll be fine.
Very good, thank you. Councilmember Chamberlain-Krianga, I saw your hand go up earlier as well.
Yes, I just want to thank Clerk Dixon for this information. This is the best news of the evening, knowing that our polls are above and beyond in terms of staffing, and just the high return rate on the AV ballots is wonderful. What I wanted to share was, as I was returning my AV ballot last Friday, I stopped by the Troy Family Aquatic Center. We had heard that the resurfacing of the pool was complete, so just wanted to see how that went. And so wanted to affirm to residents, and I shared some photos because I did have some residents and neighbors keep asking me, did we decide to make the initial step to approve those repairs, the resurfacing? So wanted to just share that yes, and had the chance to meet the TFAC, the Aquatic Center manager, Ahab, and just he was so appreciative of our support and gave me a bit of a tour and just said how much this means to him. It means to his staff and of course to our community. So it was just a great way to really see the human side of our decisions that we make. And so encourage folks to also check that out.
Absolutely. And those pictures, you shared them with me, and then I saw them on social media and shared them. It was kind of fun to see the aquatic center filled with water during fall, with fall leaves in the background. That was a neat thing to see. And also, again, to the residents that weighed in with, whether the hundreds I see Rebecca one sec, see the hundreds who gave this comment and public comment or on social media, again, thank you for your active community engagement process. And it's great to be able to work with you on all of that. So Rebecca, do you want to finish something up?
Really quick, I forgot to mention, so further evidence that we're moving forward with these repairs and the resurfacing and all, and we plan to open in 2021 in the spring, is that on the AJ agenda, we did approve some chlorine tablets and enough stock that is for both the community center pool as well as for the Troy Aquatic Center outdoors. So again, evidence that we are full steam ahead for spring 2021.
Fingers crossed. Councilmember Abraham?
Thank you, Mayor. I just wanted to let our residents know, we had talked about before our bond rating, in that there is going to be a reassessment based off of, the new criteria. And so I wanted to let our residents know that our S&P, our Standard & Poor's, has issued a rating of AAA again, and which is wonderful news for our city. I'm probably stealing Councilwoman Hoderick's thunder by making that statement, but it is crucial that residents understand that this rating is something that every city strives for. It brings stability to our budgeting process. it's a recognition that we have very fiscally conservative and sustainable practices that are in place. I bring this up, again, in context of the library. We, in a lot of the library millage discussions and discussions over the summer of, what is the right millage rate? How does this relate to our bond rating? Essentially, a good amount of our bond rating, or at least part of it, is attributed to the fact that we do have sustainable funding for the library with that millage. And, we have a very important millage, library millage measure on the ballot in 8 days, or if you've already voted, you've already, it's on the ballot. Having that sustainable funding for that service is what contributes to our strong bond rating. And if you haven't voted yet, please keep that under consideration. If you still have questions about whether the library millage is something you understand, want to support, please go to our city's website. Right there on the homepage, there are links to a multitude of pieces of information on how we got to that millage rate that's on the ballot. There is a millage calculator, so you can see what you're paying today versus what you would be paying even with this new rate. For me, I'm paying $4 more a year. And that higher rate would get to a 7-day operation. So again, tying that back to the bond rating, they go hand in hand, and I hope that everyone takes that into consideration as they're voting on the library in November.
Thank you. Yes, and I know that with the bond rate in the library, I know Assistant City Manager Brunner, who has been, I think, listening tonight, has been fielding a ton of questions from residents and putting all the reports out for everything, and working with Director Kathy Russ to provide that good information. Please know that it's all out there, everybody. Like Councilmember Abraham said, it's really a very user-friendly site that talks about your tax rate, talks about all the decision making, very transparent and open as to how we got where we are. I don't remember off the top of my head what that site is. Does somebody, or maybe Bob, if you want to voice over what that link, what the actual website is for the library millage? Or not? All right, like go to the city's webpage and we'll direct you there for sure in the meantime, right? I appreciate that. Any other council comments? I just wanted to say, typically yesterday would have been the Frightful 5K in the city of Troy, and it's been, there's probably been no bigger advocate on council than for the Frightful 5K than me, and it devastates me that my first year as mayor, I can't actually do a Frightful 5K for obvious reasons, but hopefully next year we can look at how we can address that and move on to that. But it's a good community event, City Manager Miller, just as a reminder. So, all right, I guess that concludes council comments this evening. We do have a closed session, so we will recess from this meeting and re-adjourn with City Attorney Bloom. I know we will get a new link for the closed session, I'm sure. Or no, we will not. Okay.
Actually, Mayor, we're going to, the council members, we can see who all is on and connected. So we are going to, the council members will remain on the line, and everybody else will be asked to leave the go-to meeting. Okay, so in that case, we will recess from our regular city council meeting. We'll take a 5-minute recess or so, and hopefully that'll allow time for everybody who's not supposed to be in the closed session to go ahead and leave, and we'll come back in the closed session, just those of us that are allowed. Okay, thank you.